let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome back. Connor Happer, Josh Hodson with you on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Mike Schaefer will join us in about a half hour. Where will Marty Brown end up? He said this morning he's 50-50. 50-50.
Oh.
Nebraska versus Miami. I can remember some Nebraska-Miami games that were 50-50. Not the one in 2001. It was not 50-50.
That was not.
No.
They had our number that day.
The NFL draft was over the weekend. Josh is still happy to get Cam Ward, number one. He's somehow gone from, I think this guy's probably a bridge quarterback who's gone and a backup in 3 years, to he's the savior and he's a superstar.
You see, he didn't wear fancy chains, and his only interest is football.
I'll tell you what, if there's one thing that Shedeur Sanders did, he made the guys who got drafted in front of him look pretty good.
Yeah. That's something, right?
Because we talked about this on Friday, Josh. He did not go in the first round, nor did he go in the second or the third. Those two rounds took place on Friday night, and we were sort of watching it and paying attention. And so Cam Ward and Jackson Dart go in the first, and then Tyler Shuck went in the second round, and everybody thought that they were going to take Shedeur. New Orleans was going to take Shedeur there. 7-year quarterback Tyler Shuck went in the second round. And then the third round came around. It's almost ending. And I think Seattle's going to take a quarterback here. It's Jalen Milroe out of Alabama. Okay. All right. All right. Cleveland. They're definitely going to take a quarterback here. They did. Dylan Gabriel. Round 3.
That's a quarterback.
Pick number 30. And then finally, Cleveland took another quarterback. Round 5, pick 6. That is quarterback out of Colorado, Shedeur Sanders.
Totally normal.
It was a long wait in his custom-built room. And this has been quite the sports story over the weekend. This is obviously your culture war of the week. Many things have been said about Shedeur Sanders. In Josh's pre-show tweet today, he said that we were going to talk about Shedeur Sanders and the reaction to it and the reaction to it. Did you notice that?
But yes, that was on purpose.
The reaction to it and the reaction to it and the reaction to it. Yes, there was a lot of that. So,
this story is like an onion. It has layers.
Here's my thing. And what we said, like the basis of what we said on Friday was, I don't think you probably fall out of the first round because of non-football things, right? They probably just didn't have a great evaluation on them. But why do you go in the 5th round? And why do you go behind Tyler Shuck? My man's got drafted behind Tyler Shuck. I'm sorry.
A lot of people got drafted behind Tyler Shuck.
No. But specifically, he got drafted behind Tyler Shuck.
Uh-huh.
There's no doubt that Shedeur Sanders is a higher ceiling player than Tyler Shuck. There is no doubt in my mind. It's 100% objective. Same thing goes to Dylan Gabriel. I didn't think the guy was a first rounder, but oh my God, something went terribly wrong. And so all the stuff that we said of why he didn't get drafted in the first round on Friday, it flips when you have to wait until the 5th round. Because I figured that he was going to get picked up in the second, and it was going to be early in the second, and then we were just going to be on with it. And the story was, well, we just had a second round evaluation on him. We just didn't want to, jump back into the first and get him. We didn't want to trade draft capital to get him. And, we believe in him, but we just didn't feel like he was worth a first round pick. That is very reasonable from a football perspective.
Yes.
But you don't get drafted behind Tyler Shuck, Jalen Milroe, and Dylan Gabriel, 2 rounds behind each of them at least, if if there wasn't something that went horribly, horribly wrong. This is an all-time interview screw up by Shedeur Sanders. And it's a good lesson to players of his caliber. First of all, understand your worth, know how good you are, don't overplay it for leverage. And if you are an average player, if you are not a first round draft pick, you better be a damn good human. You better be a great person. You better treat your teammates well, and you better be an excellent leader on the football field. And it turned out that in the world where NFL teams generally had similar evaluations on Shedeur as they did Tyler Shuck and Jalen Milroe and Dylan Gabriel, that they chose those guys instead of Shedeur Sanders, who they felt like they had to wonder about in the leadership category, in the how you treat your teammates category, in the how you generally treat other people category. I don't think that Shedeur is going to be a problem when he walks into an NFL locker room. I really don't. I don't think it's an issue that way. But I think you don't want to give that guy the keys because of what you're not sure about from a personality standpoint. A lot of people brought up Dion and his whole impact on this, and man, people just don't want to deal with Dion. Like, it's an NFL team, you know? And clearly, when you're drafted in the 5th round, you have no leverage anymore to be like, hey, my kid's got to play or else we'll take him out of the NFL. Where are you going to put him? Who cares? Nobody cares if he's out of the NFL if he's drafted in the 5th round. You're just like the guy who was drafted in the 7th or undrafted.
I did question at a certain point on Saturday, do you think The Rock called Deion Sanders and said, we can make your kid the star of the UFL if you just say the word and it happens? You think that call took place Saturday?
I saw a lot of Canadian football tweets, and then I thought for a second, hang on, he could go do that. He could go be like, I don't know if he'd be the best dude in the CFL, but he'd be like the most notable player in the CFL. I wonder if that call took place. As we know, there were many calls that took place.
The phone was busy at the Sanders establishment.
I mean, I like, and so this has turned into a race thing.
America, you've lost the plot of what happened here.
Go ahead, Josh. Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's not racist that he didn't get drafted until the 5th round. It is NFL teams saying you went 13-12. Your stats aren't what they need to be.
I disagree. I don't think it was about that. I think it was about the way that he handled the process leading up to the draft.
His dad saying there's only certain teams we're going to let go. Go to.
I think the reason that he didn't get drafted in the 1st round is the football.
Yes.
That's the football, right? The evaluation on him as a football player only is we don't think he's a 1st round quarterback. And I think that's very reasonable in my opinion. I mean, you look at that's where, Josh, you bring up the stats. I mean, you look at him compared to everybody else in the country. He doesn't stand out, right?
Right.
Cam Ward stands out from the last couple of years of what he's done. Jackson Dart is stood out. Those guys are not like terribly more than everybody else, but right, they stand out. Those were a couple of the best quarterbacks in the country that are ending up in the NFL draft. I don't think Shedeur really stands out that way. I think they viewed him the same as some of the quarterbacks that went in the 2nd round or in the 3rd round. Shuck, Milroe, Gabriel, Kyle McCord went in the 6th. Will Howard went in the 6th. Riley Leonard went in the 6th. Graham Mertz went in the 6th.
We'll run on QBs.
The North Dakota State quarterback, Cam Miller, went in the 6th.
We got to stop drafting North Dakota State quarterbacks, guys.
Why? One Trey Lance spoils the bunch for you? Yeah. He only played like 10 seconds at North Dakota State. What about Carson Wentz?
What about Carson?
Carson Wentz was awesome.
Until he wasn't.
And then he stopped being awesome.
And then Nick Foles won a Super Bowl for him.
Easton's stick.
That's worked out well for...
Yes. You got a good backup quarterback there. Curtis Rourke He was roarking it. He
Roarking
went in the
that thing.
7th round in Quinn Ewers. Quinn, your boy Josh.
He said he was going to win the Heisman.
I think the grade on him from a football perspective was he looked like he was closer to those guys' range than he was the Ward and Dart range. That's the football part. The reason that he gets taken 3 rounds behind Tyler Shuck, sorry, once again, Tyler, but my God, the reason that he gets taken 3 rounds behind Tyler Shuck is because of the other stuff. Is because he didn't handle the pre-draft process like everybody else handles the pre-draft process. And then people try to do this like, hey, people can't handle personality. This is not about that. This is not about showmanship or anything like that. It's about how you treat people.
Mm-hmm.
It's about how you treat adults. It's about how you treat your bosses. And you walk into the meeting and you are not like, I think this is an appropriate like critique. If you're walking into a job interview, which is essentially what he's doing for 2 straight months as he gets done with his career at Colorado, and he talks to people and the backstory on him, and he walks into those meetings and we'll continue to hear stories from him, but the general consensus that you get from him is you guys suck as a franchise, or I don't have any respect for you, or he's, texting in the meeting, like whatever it might be, those little details. Just how would you walk into a job interview if you were trying to get a job? Not like that, not with that disposition. And that's why he got drafted where he got drafted. I really believe that. I don't think it was about anything else. I don't think it was ulterior motives. I don't think it was about Dion. I don't think it was about
collusion.
I don't think it was about him being black. I don't think like none of that stuff. I just think he fell short in those really important categories, and those categories become a lot more important when the player grade. The NFL has looked over a lot of crap over the years, Josh. A lot of crap. There's been a lot of bad dudes that were drafted in the NFL, and we're not talking about a bad dude. We're talking about a dude who needs an attitude adjustment.
Right.
And so, but think about some of those bad, like literally bad people.
Yeah.
Their talent was so overwhelmingly, important and they feel like they can use the talent so much and put them in a good position and all of that stuff to where the personality just it had to be looked over. When you're in the 5th to 7th round range of the NFL draft, that stuff just matters. Or second to hell, anything that's not the first round or the first 2 rounds. Really.
Sometimes a malcontent is undeniable. Like, well, the talent, we got to deal with some stuff, some baggage, but his talent is undeniable. Shedeur was not that guy. And NFL GMs are not going to have you and your brother and his iPhone film crew if you're the 3rd string quarterback. Like, you're not worth that.
And they're certainly not going to hand you the keys.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They're certainly not going to hand you the keys. So I just think he has a really, I just think he has a really warped sense. I mean, how many times have I said, what do I always say about Colorado, Josh? Something about heads and butts.
Oh, yeah. Their heads are in their butts.
Their heads are so far up their own butts. This is a case of that. He didn't know what the opinions on him were, and he went into the meetings like he was going to get, a franchise handed to him. And instead, he goes into a Cleveland Browns locker room that has 100 quarterbacks, including one that was drafted before him in that very draft. And, he's no better than the 4th or 5th guy in that room. Like, I imagine that was an eye-opening moment for Shedeur, because I bet he thought going into it that he was, whatever team he went to, he was going to be. I mean, he even said it. I think his tweet after the draft was, I'm ready to go turn around this franchise, or he said something like that. Like, that's something that the 1st round draft pick says.
Yeah.
I'm ready to bring a championship back. Bro, you're not playing.
Yeah.
You're not going to play. You're not in a position right now to play. Nobody's giving you the keys to anything. You fall in that round, in that 3rd to 7th, whatever it might be, in that range, you are expendable just like everybody else. And so you'll have to earn everything you'll get. You'll have to do extra. You'll have to make yourself valuable in ways that aren't playing on the field. And for a quarterback, that's just really hard. And he's not proven throughout his football playing career that he's willing to do any of that stuff. That's just my read on the situation. I don't know the guy well, but I know how he talks, and I know, and I know, how he's handled all of this stuff. And I guess you give credit to him, like, he does the tweets and it's like, God is good, and he doesn't go crazy because the kid, the Falcons DC kid called him, or anything like that. Frank called him.
Yeah.
So credit him for handling handling this kind of ugly moment with a little bit of grace, but I don't think it had to be that way for him. I really don't. I think he was in control of that. And I just don't think he was aware of it because of head so far up the butt syndrome at Colorado. Now that part is Deion's fault. That part is Deion's fault.
You got to have one guy in your camp that is I'm going to tell you the thing you don't want to hear guy. And clearly Shedeur does not have that.
No.
It was
if he did, it was like, see ya.
You're number 1 on Mel's board. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Well,
by the way,
he probably was.
Mel, I don't know if Mel is surviving this.
Josh.
He says he does not want to retire, but boy, they might have to put him somewhere else.
I mean, like,
rough look.
ESPN probably likes it, right?
I mean, I guess we were talking about Mel Kiper all weekend,
and
that's really all ESPN cares about.
I bet ESPN probably likes how wrong he was. Or how wrong he's going to be.
Made the draft watchable on Saturday, right? Whereas it would have been white noise, I guess.
It was insufferable. So while I get what you're saying, like you now have lost a lot of credibility with people that you care about, or that people who watch you, I don't think that really matters on TV these days anymore. It's kind of
that's true. I mean, this was the guy that said he'd quit evaluating football if Jimmy Clausen wasn't an NFL Hall of Famer or something like that.
Yeah. I just got a message. I'm probably in the minority, but I think the Browns got a steal in Shedeur. I bet he starts at some point this upcoming season. So what did we say on Friday? We said there's 2 paths that this can go. Either he gets drafted in the first round and somebody says, well, he's a reach and the expectations are too high and he gets the keys, or he gets drafted too low, in this case, far too low, like in the 5th, like I said, right? Because I think the player is probably in the 2nd and 3rd round range.
Right.
But the player plus the personality, now, is this the wake-up call that he needs to kick it into gear and stop doing whatever act he's doing? Because it's just an act. It's just an act. Showing the watch and doing all that stuff, like, that's not who you are. That's just something that you do. So is this the wake-up call that he needed to, reach his potential? It's possible. I wouldn't that is a distinct possibility.
How do you walk into the locker room and handle grown-ass men that are your coworkers?
And they're going to be making fun of you immediately
Yeah.
when you enter that room.
It is possible that the pick turned around and became great value for Cleveland.
And dad is not there to save you anymore.
Right.
So, I don't know. Like, I don't think that's that far out of the question. I think there's a lot of different ways that this could go. Let's see. Sith Destroyer.
Hi, Sith Destroyer.
There is 0 chance Shedeur starts for the Browns. He likely won't see the field for multiple seasons and will be forgotten. Oh, I wouldn't call there 0 chance. But yeah, I mean, when you get drafted in the position that you get drafted in, with the room that you and the franchise that you've got drafted into, like if you were doing an odds board on it right now, what are the chances that Shedeur ever starts a game in the NFL or ever whatever? I mean, it's not. Josh is checking the offshore gambling sites right now. They're not very good for him.
Well, I wanted to make sure I got everybody that is a quarterback on the Browns. I mean, it's Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders,
Deshaun Watson,
who tore his ACL and isn't playing next year, right?
Yeah, and there's more. There's
Kenny Pickett. That's the other one.
The Pickett man. I mean, he's at least at the most the third guy.
I wouldn't put it at 0% chance he plays.
No, I wouldn't put it at
also,
0.
He will play in a preseason game, and we will have takes.
Yeah. Yep. He'll get sacked a couple times. Maybe he'll throw a pick six.
He'll throw a dime, and we'll be like, "See, you got to start him. You got to start him."
Oh, that Kuiper would be on the TV again. TF writes in.
Hi, TF.
Clearly, Cleveland was the only team that was willing to put up with the bleep show that is Deion Sanders. I just don't think it's Deion. Like, I mean, I guess if you want to make the case that Shedeur is only the way Shedeur is because of Deion, then I guess it is Deion a little bit. But well, okay. I saw some video from like when he was falling and they drafted Shuck, I think specifically at that pick, 9th in the second round, and they had a camera on him because everything was on camera, like you said, the iPhone cameras, and you could kind of see everything just washing over his face. It's like, ooh, this is not. Did I make a mistake? You know, did we make a mistake in how we set this? Because he wants the best for his kids, right? But
definitely,
I think what the NFL maybe told Deion is, hey, what you did, the environment that you put him in over the last couple of years, maybe wasn't necessarily the best thing for him.
So I think it's interesting that you bring that up, and you don't think that after like a loss to BYU, in an effort to get Deion to talk but not talk about the game, somebody would, hey, you think Cleveland should start your kid? Because he's not gonna not.
He might go there. He might go there. I don't know. Yeah, it becomes really weird now that they're not together anymore.
Something that I, in my own naivete, didn't think about. Like, oh, yeah, you know, some Colorado reporter probably is going to try and ask him about this.
And by the way, Colorado got how many wide receivers drafted? A couple.
Travis Hunter.
Well, yes. That was one of them, and maybe they didn't get drafted. Maybe they just ended up in the. Sorry.
Jimmy Horn guy go pro?
Yes. LeJontay Wester, 6th round. Jimmy Horn,
Panthers,
6th round. And those were their top 3 receivers last year when you include Travis Hunter. So he got 3 wide receivers drafted, and still you know what I mean? Like you're just assembling the case for him as a football player as well. All right, so I get a couple of emails that we can get to a little bit later on in the show. We are not going. This is not Culture War of the Week for us, Josh. We're going to let this continue to be a Culture War. Actually, I should turn it to the chit chat shows.
Oh, it's the only thing they're talking about.
Well, let's see. McAfee headline on the bottom is there he is, Shedeur Sanders. Hey, there's your tweet that you were looking for. The Browns Albert Breer tweet.
Yeah.
Flacco, Gabriel, Kenny Pickett, Shedeur, Deshaun Watson. In alphabetical order, by the way.
Wasn't trying to disrespect anybody.
Yeah. You were right. That is definitely the thing that they are talking about.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Mike Schaefer is going to join us on the other side. We'll talk about his weekend at the Husker games, the draft, Marty Brown, things of that nature. Schaef's up on the other side here on 1620 The Zone.